Let's
welcome
Let's
John!
All right. John Boyer from Disturbed is with us.
So exciting.
What's up, John?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Amazing now that you're in the chat with us.
Oh, you're too sweet. You guys are wild, man. This is cool. This is a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. Well, yeah, because we refuse not to have a good time, of
Yes.
course. You know what I mean? Because why else would we do it, you know?
Absolutely.
It's we're doing it for the love of it, and we love talking to people and rock fans. I mean, that's the most important thing in the world is communicating with rock fans and people that are out there on Twitch that follow DW Presents. John, let's talk about this great new album that you guys put out, Divisive, man. Every time I hear another song from it, I just love this record, and then you guys finally put out the whole album. You guys came back swinging. Let's talk about that.
I know, right? You know, it's really interesting because the last album, as you recall, was Evolution. And Evolution, almost half that record was kind of acoustic. You know, we were really pushing ourselves to do something different, you know, and we had some great tracks off that, you know, A Reason to Fight, Hold On to Memories. And then, you know, it's great because now our live show has like these acoustic moments that go along with Sound of Silence. But at the end of the day, we're always going to be a hard rock, heavy metal band that's angry. And so this record, it wasn't even forced. It was like, this is where we're at now. We did that. Let's get back to our roots. Let's get back heavy. I think David is sounding the best. You know, David Draymond, our singer for Disturbed, I think he's never sounded better. He sounds incredibly powerful. Nothing is overproduced. It's very visceral. His lyrics are just on fire. And, you know, people talk about the fact that like, oh, you guys have had some success. How can you still be angry? Just look around at the world, bro. There's plenty to be angry about. Plenty to talk about.
There certainly is.
Yeah.
You know, and someone like David Draymond, you know, he's a really smart guy. He really stays informed, and I think it's just been bubbling for him, and these messages, and you know, I say this a lot about Disturbed. I think a lot of people get into Disturbed because of the music. You know, Dan's a really heavy, powerful guitar player. No one really plays drums like Mikey. Mikey and Dan have the syncopation that they do together, you know, and me, I'm just there laying down as thick a bass as I can to, you know, help support these guys. And I think that's why people get into Disturbed, but I think people stay because of the messages that David, you know, puts in those lyrics. And I think this new Divisive record is filled with all kinds of powerful messages that our fans, you know, and not just our fans, but even new fans would really like. I'm curious, Matt, what's your favorite track off the record?
Oh man, you know, right at the moment, I love a lot of songs on the record, but I love Bad Men because that video
Oh my God,
is
I was
so.
just gonna say that.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's like
I
that's
love
all
that.
right.
That's
It's
my
incredible.
favorite. I do love Hey You though as well
Yeah.
because like it was really like the first one that we got and we were like, oh my God, Disturbed's back.
Yeah.
Like here we go. It's like so exciting to me because you know how much I love Disturbed. Like
Yeah.
I'm the biggest Disturbed
Oh,
fan
that's wonderful.
ever.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
You know, Hey You is kind of, it's sort of, you know, it's a Disturbed track. You know it out of the gate. You don't even have to hear David's voice. And like right in the beginning, you're like,
Absolutely.
okay, that's a Disturbed sound. That's that heaviness that we're used to. Bad Man, though, is a different animal. Bad Man comes in swinging for the fences. It's an arrangement style of riff that we've never really done before. And David's attack on it is just so incredible. When I first heard, you know, the vocals on Bad Man, that song came together, I was like, oh my gosh, this
So
is going to be
cool.
amazing. It's a workout song. It's a driving song. It's a get up in the morning and kick some ass song. And I really love that one.
I do. You know, I got to say, speaking of workout songs, when Hey You came out, it's been on my workout playlist because you know how important that is to me. You know what I mean? Like where I work out regularly as a guy who's sober, just like you know, like I mean, even if you weren't sober, working out, you need a good soundtrack, you need a good playlist. And Hey You's on that now. Bad Men's on that. Device is on there. So many great songs.
And
We
you know
love
what's
that.
funny? When you say you put it on your workout playlist, Disturbed is all of their music is just my pre-gaming drinking music.
Well, you know, it serves so many great purposes, and I love that.
Like literally, when me and the hubby are getting ready to like go to Rainbow, we're listening to Prayer and Liberate and Dropping Plates
Yeah.
and Divisive and all these songs. But you know what's funny? I don't know if you know this, John, but months ago I talked about it on air on my SiriusXM show, and I said I've been to so many Disturbed shows, and I have yet to hear Dropping Plates live, because they used to do it a long time ago, but not really recently. And David wrote me back saying, "You just let me know what show you're coming to, and we'll add in Dropping Plates." And I was like, "Hell yeah,
That's the
brother!"
best. You know,
That's right. That's right. We pay attention. You know, I think moving forward, you're going to see Disturbed play a wider range in our live shows. Typically, you know, we put together a really strong, powerful show. There's pyro, there's lights, there's cues. It's like we're not just up there jamming. You know, it's a very thought out show, and so a lot of times we have sort of a static set list. You know, that will like the same set that we play for a month or 2 months or something like that. And I think what you're going to start seeing from Disturbed, because now this is 8 records deep for us.
Yeah.
And you know, when we were putting together our set list, it's always like, well, now we're leaving out that song and that song, but we got to play songs off the new record. And, you know, I think the band's had like 15, 16 #1 rock radio hits. And then on top of that, you have, you know, fan favorites like Dropping Plates, like The Game. And, you know, these songs weren't even at radio, but they're like standards in our set list.
Yeah.
So I think what you're going to find moving forward with Disturbed, and Metallica already does this, where, you know, like that whole no repeat weekend. I think, you know, we're at a point now where, you know, we're sitting on over 100 songs, and like I said, 15, 16 of them are big rock radio hits and our fan favorites. You're going to start seeing different set lists from us. And, you know, I'm hoping that moving forward, you know, when you come see a Disturbed show, you can come see us in Chicago, and then 2 nights later, you know, maybe drive down to Indiana and see a completely different show.
Very cool.
And I think that's what we're going to start trying to do moving forward, because we're tired of leaving out songs, like you said, Dropping Plates.
Mm-hmm.
We get requests for that all the time. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't fit in one set. So we're really trying, I think you're going to see this moving forward from us, a wider range of songs from us, and, you know, to give our fans more to look forward to when they come to multiple shows.
That's great.
That
Josh,
sounds amazing.
Josh, my brother.
Yeah, man. I was, you know, what's up, John? So good to see you. Curious when you do have that situation, you know, how you play. Like, what is, you know, and you mentioned something earlier that you lay down this thick bass, right? Because you guys have such a distinct sound. We talked about this last week. When I heard Bad Man, I'm like, oh, it's the new Disturbed, you know, another Disturbed, you know, classic single. Like, just like, you know, you hear an AC/DC song and, you know, it's like, that's an AC/DC sound, right? Or that's a Pantera song. So it was so familiar. I want to talk about a bit more about the video process. You know, this is, you know, we debuted Bad Man video last week on our charts. I can tell you we got a great vote and shot up the charts. What is the video process like for you guys, and how do you approach that medium?
I mean, it changes a lot, you know. So, like, obviously the first single, Hey You, I think, you know, we felt it was important to come out and, you know, show us, you know, have the fans see us in person, you know, that, you know, our interaction as a band, you know, in an enclosed environment, and then, you know, kind of create sort of whatever new sci-fi vision we had for that video. But we don't always do that, because, you know, we have songs like Land of Confusion, like Another Way to Die, that don't feature the band so much, you know, or images of the band, but not really. And that's what Bad Man does. So it's like, what are you going to do? Every video, you're just going to go into a video shoot. You're going to blast the video. You're going to play along to it. Sometimes it's like, okay, that's cool for some songs. But, you know, I like the fact that, you know, with Bad Man, well, we're taking advantage of that new technology. You know, people are going online. They're losing their mind over using AI to create an image, right? You type in Gothic castle futuristic, and then AI brings up, like, you know, 9 versions of a futuristic Gothic castle. It's really powerful. And so this is just an extension of that. It's taking that new idea and turning it into a full-on connected video. And so I think, you know, anytime that we have an opportunity, like Land of Confusion, to work with someone like Todd McFarlane, like Bad Man, to create a unique video with today's, you know, sort of new technology, and us not really being, you know, the, hey, look at us, you know, featured thing, you know, that's cool and it's great. And, you know, but at the same time, how many different ways can you do a video? There's only so many things that you can possibly do. So trying to find something new is challenging. And I'm really happy with the way Bad Man turned out. You know, watching it, I'm like, it's just, it's just so cool to watch. I love the fractured imagery of it. The director just did an amazing job. And I think you can go to our website and he takes you through how his process on how he did it. And I think it was like 35 hours of editing and compiling clips and trying to figure out, how to make it all flow. So there's no rules except that we just don't want to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's funny when I John and I caught up last week. John, just like myself, we both went and saw Judas Priest live recently, which is, if anyone in the chat gets a chance.
I went to the San Antonio show. It was fantastic.
Run, don't walk to go see Judas Priest. I know Matt had the pleasure of seeing them at the Rock Hall. Right, Matt was actually at the induction ceremony. But one of the funny things John and I had reminded ourselves of that we had done this really funny video skit like 12 years ago, which I had totally forgotten about, but like where we were advertising the upcoming Golden God Awards at the time. And in the video is myself as I'm like the intern in the video, and John and Vinny Appice and Zach Wild and the late Vinnie Paul were all in it with Alice Cooper, and it was such Chris Jericho, and tonight, as many of our fans know, is tonight is the first Pantera performance in many years happening tonight in Mexico. So
I think we have it here, Josh.
Well, we have this video actually of that.
Okay, we'll show a little clip of that.
Yeah, let's show
with John in here and you. So I want to see this right now.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Oh no,
this was way too much fun. This was at the Grammy Museum.
I think I'm just in the background. I'm just window dressing on this thing.
Oh no, you're the sex appeal.
Hi, I'm Chris Jericho, lead singer of Fozzy, international rock sensations, and 6-time WWE World Champion. It's a great honor for me to host the Golden Gods Awards for the 3rd time this year.
There's
Who's ever done that
Alex.
before? It's like a record or something. But my favorite part about it is I get a chance to come and hang out with all of my friends, heavy metal, hard rock, legendary people like this. We get to bond, we get to reconnect. I give them a little bit of advice, I help them with their problems. It's a great honor, not just for me, but mostly for them, and that's the truth. So come down and see us, April 11th, 2012, Club Nokia for the Golden Gods Awards, also broadcast live on Xbox. Come see us.
Cut. That was good.
Oh man, I forgot all about that. That's great.
Good.
Hey kid, why don't you go fetch me a Coke? All right? Here's $5. Get yourself something nice.
Sure, Alice, whatever you want.
That's Mr. Cooper.
Oh my God, it's so good. Vinny, oh.
Who was that douchebag?
That, my friend, your host of the 2012 Revolver Golden Gods. Hell yeah!
Oh, God help us all.
Bravo!
That was phenomenal.
Okay, that was amazing.
So,
Josh, that was
John-
incredible. What?
That
John-
is iconic right there.
John and I studied for weeks, in acting classes to make sure that all the right nuances were there. But what a fun day that was, and John being there. We did a press conference, I think, and we were at the Grammy Museum. But what a fun memory, and getting to work with Vinny, and just curious what your thoughts were on the Pantera, sort of. I won't say reunion, but the Pantera celebration and the Abbott Brothers celebration.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to put it. It's a celebration of their music. I think it's long overdue. I went to the Static X shows, and it was just so powerful and so cool. And I think in the spirit of that, I think this is something that's just going to be great. I'm so happy for Rex and for Phil to be able to have this opportunity. I don't think they could have picked two better people. Obviously, the chemistry between Zach and the Abbott brothers has always been there. He's been like that third brother. Mm-hmm. So there's no doubt that Zach's the perfect person for it. And, I've been watching him on Twitter, and Zach's talking about how, hard he's working to play those parts correctly and, to do it justice. And I know Charlie Benante, the drummer, also is a very he's a school what's the word I'm looking
Scholar,
for? He's a student of he's a student of it, so he really understands it. So I know he's going to do it perfectly. So I think it's great. calling it, a reunion per se, maybe that's not the proper word for it, but I like what you called it, a celebration of Pantera's music in the best way possible.
I think they've
And I think
actually
it's
come
what
out
we do.
and
I'm really
Called
happy
that,
about
yeah.
they've come out and changed it because of Vinnie Paul's estate or something like that,
Yeah.
and they recommended changing it to Pantera Celebration shows.
Yeah.
So that's what it will be called
Yeah.
from now on.
Yeah, which is cool. And, let's talk about the fact that, John, besides all the stuff that you do with Disturbed, I mentioned it earlier, you've been doing a lot of production yourself, too. When you're not working with Disturbed, you've been working and discovering bands. And Nocturnal Affair is really cool. Brendan Shane, the guys from Vegas. I mean, I was down there
Yep.
hanging out with you. I was there in Vegas, and I watched those guys. We, showcase, and we just hung out. And I mean, I thought they were great. Let's talk about that and some of the other things you've been working on.
Sure, yeah. When Disturbed's not, we don't tour all the time, and I like to stay busy. I like to think that I'm more than just a bass player. I write songs, I play guitar, but I really like collaborating and working with new artists. I think the hardest thing for young new artists is finding their identity. They sometimes are like, they sound like this, they sound like that. They really don't know what makes them special. So what I try to do when I start working with them, like when I started working with Brendan from Nocturnal Affair, I'm like, man, I really like what you're doing. You're kind of like this moody Nine Inch Nails, but not as angry, this sort of Deftones, but a little more slick, a little bit of Depeche Mode. So let's take all your best features and put it together. And so I'm real conscious of that in my production work. I'm thinking to myself, I want to create something new and unique that's a combination of all the best parts about you. And then, obviously to me, it's about songs and songwriting. So I want to hear good melodies. I want to hear a good message. I do a lot of stuff when I work with my bands where when I first get together with them, I have a band in Florida that I work with called The World's Greatest Villains. They're great, brand new band coming out. But right when I started working with them, the tendency is for them to be like, all right, come in the jam room. We're going to jam. And I let them jam for a minute. And then I'm like, all right, now that we got that out of our system, everybody turn down and we're going to songwrite. Now play the song again, and we're going to listen to how it flows, what the builds are, the dynamics. So to me, it has to start with a great vocal and great drums that create, sort of that foundation. And then the middle part we figure out. You figure out how much guitar it's going to have, the tones of the guitar and all that. It's everything has to service the song. So, you can go to my website. Actually, I don't want to go through every band I produce, but I work with a lot of different bands. So johnmoyermusic.com, I've got a production page on there. I got a list of a bunch of bands. And then I have a Spotify playlist, actually, that's on my website too. And it's just bands I produce. So anyone who's interested in hearing some of my production work. And the other thing I'll say about it, I think every band sounds different. I think that there's definite value in going to producer because you like that producer's sound. Some producers have a sound. I don't. I feel like the band has the sound, and they don't go through my process. I go through their process. I figure out what makes once again them special, and then we work on making them sound like the best version of them possible, not my version of them.
Yeah. Well, what I think is great, and I'll just say it's when you talk about melody, that's the one thing that's great about Disturbed, and we've talked about it before. It's no matter how heavy the song is, whatever direction it goes. All those songs have incredible hooks and melody.
Yeah.
Those choruses are all things
Always
and verses
catchy.
that you can sing to, no matter what. So if you strip them down, they would have that. So it has that same dynamic.
Exactly.
I'm really
I
looking.
think that's really important.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm just really looking forward to them announcing their shows because
Yeah.
the anticipation is killing me here. Like, all I want is to see all the shows so I can organize the multiple dates I'm going to go to.
Yes.
Road trip it out because there's.
Plan your calendar.
Yeah. I gotta like go to San Diego if there's a San Diego show, maybe Sacramento. Like, I'm gonna go to everyone I can because
Yeah.
that's how much I love Disturbed. So
Yeah,
that's
they're
what
That's
I'm waiting
awesome.
for.
That's great. And
We haven't played in a while. Well, we did some shows, earlier this year, just to kind of like, I don't know. We finished the record and we had some offers and we're like, all right, let's go out, let's have a little fun. But like going out on a proper tour, we haven't done it in a while. We're really excited about it. So, and we've been doing mostly festival shows, which festival dates are a little different. It's great for fans because fans get to go see like multiple versions of their favorite bands, but they only get to see like a snippet of what that band's about. It's like a 45-minute set or an hour-long set, maybe a little longer. But when you go see a band, like when I went and saw Shinedown a couple weeks ago, that's like their headlining set. And it's, it's not just the music's not just like, we're musicians for sure, but most people are performers. So, there's an art in the performance, in the putting a show together with, the imagery and the pyro and the all the little nuances that a lot of times festivals, that environment's not really conducive for us to fully present, our art. So we're looking forward to getting back into that mental headspace and doing that side of us.
I think it's going to be great. And, we loved you at Incarceration, by the way, too. Even though it was a rainy day and it was like, there was some insanity, it was great. And, of course, everybody prevailed that day. And, the show.
Oh, that was a tough one, man. It rained all day and we were the last band to play. And, for fans to sit there, all day long in the mud and just deal with it and then still stay there at the end to see us, that's a tribute to like how amazing hard rock and heavy metal fans are and how amazing our Disturbed fans are. We got on stage and they were all still there. It was just great. I can't even describe it. I don't see other genres, having that kind of tenacity and loyalty. It's really powerful.
Yeah. Like I've heard about certain artists. I think Morrissey walked off stage,
oh my God,
after 6 songs
bullshit.
at the
Damn.
Hollywood Bowl, right? Look, I saw him in the Smiths years ago, but yeah, 6 songs at Hollywood Bowl, he was a little cold. Canceled the rest of the show.
That
Can you
guy
imagine, like, you
is
waited?
a little freaking baby. Are you kidding me?
It was just funny.
It's so true. That whole run, the Incarceration run, we did a handful of shows that week, and it was like a storm just moving across the Midwest. I swear to God, every one of our shows caught that storm. But David got on stage and he goes, look at you all staying here. As long as you're going to be here, we're going to be here too. Let's do this. And I mean, it's raining on us. My basses are soaking wet at a couple of the shows. For me to walk from the stage to like my bass area at one of the shows, there was, it's like a tent covering, like my basses, but between the end of the stage and the bass tent area, it was just a downpour of water, like walking through a water wall. So for me to go switch basses, I'm walking through a wall of water and then coming back, my tech's trying to keep everything dry, making sure everything is working. The stage is slippery like crazy. So, we're trying not to, worst thing and this has happened to me, worst thing you want to happen on stage is to wipe out. It's really embarrassing and painful. But, we get through it. If our fans are going to be there, we're going to be there too.
Thank you so much, man. John, thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Anything, Josh, in passing you'd like to say to your Katie before we run?
I just want to add, just want to thank the chat. There's John, you have so many fans who are following along, and I want to give a special shout out here to Hannah Barakat, who you had produced here, who's also in the chat, and
I love Hannah.
Really lovely things about you.
Yeah.
She is an amazing, amazing singer. One of the most talented singers I've ever worked with, ever. We did a record a couple years ago, self-produced, and I know we're going to do another one soon.
That sounds great.
Oh, yeah, it was so great talking to you, John, and I hope that we get to meet in person at one of the Disturbed shows, hopefully in early 2023, and you'll see me at a lot of them. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. John, next time I come down to Austin, again, we got to go out for some more barbecue. That's what we did last time.
We went to Salt Lick. I got a couple new places to take you. We're going to take you to Franklin's. I got the hookup there the other day, and they gave us a little table in the back. So now I got VIP there for us. So when you come into town, I got you, Matt.
All right. That sounds great, John. John, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We're excited about those shows. Great to have you here. John Moyer, everybody, from Disturbed.
Thank you
much
so
love,
much,
John.
Have a good weekend, John. See you later.
That was
That was
awesome.
amazing.